Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine, the Resilient Mother, and I have a wonderful speaker from you, another one from Australia of all places. I have Debbie Small here. She is just, when we met, we just couldn't stop talking. I just love this woman. So tell us about you and what you do.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. And firstly, I'd like to say that I'm so excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me on. And my background is corporate and business training, and I've worked in corporate, I've worked in business, I've had my own online store as well. And through my business, I made a lot of mistakes and I was referred to the wrong people as well. So I've now built a business helping people like who I was before have an easier journey with their business. So business is hard. I say that being a parent is the hardest job in the world and the most important job in the world. Being an entrepreneur is the second hardest job in the world. So, you know, we're all crazy. We're all, you know, doing the business all the time, as you guys are looking after the kids all the time. And resilience is something we learn to have. But I'll tell you one thing, that it is so normal. The ups and downs that you have is just, it's human, and it's so normal to have. And I meet a lot of people who think that the ups and downs are not normal. You know, they may go through depression, they may not want to get out of bed, they may feel great, you know, they're thinking they're not normal. Every single emotion a human being feels is totally normal. Yeah. And as a parent, you'd be feeling all of them as well.
Yeah, Brenda Burchard does a really good job of separating this in a way that made sense to me. So the emotions are what hit us. That's the initial reaction. The feelings are the meaning we put on those emotions. And we need to realize we have that control. We can't control the initial reaction because that's biological, but from our thoughts and our creativity, we can decide what to do about it once we feel it, once we acknowledge it, once we just accept it instead of try to fight it or stuff it. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is, what you're saying is so true. And that's the first thing I've got on my list here is self-talk. Self-talk is imperative. It is so important because it's so easy for us to say negative things about ourselves. So we need to consciously change that and be talking positively and say positively things. You know, there are times I'll walk around the house going, keep moving forward, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. And also the words to the Frozen song. I've lost it now.
Let it go.
What's the Frozen song again?
Let it go.
Yeah, I don't know any of the other words, but I keep singing let it go, and it works. It actually works. So yeah, really, really important self-talk. It's everything is mindset that starts with, and it's a domino effect. So how we are is a domino effect on the people around us. So if we're angry and irritated, that has a domino effect on the people around us. And if we're happy or we're consciously changing our mindset to be more positive, that also has an impact on the people around us. Absolutely. And to me, that is one of the most important things.
Yes. And I'm right now trying to balance mother and entrepreneur, and I'm finding that it's a lot more than I bargained for. And I really have to decide what my non-negotiables are, like things that I need to do to take care of myself and my kids. And then the business kind of has to evolve around that. And initially the summit was a goal and a way to push myself to be more of a leader, but I'm also realizing part of leading myself is having proper boundaries and clear goals with what I'm doing so that I don't go too far with any one thing, so I can keep my plate spinning, as another analogy, I guess, to put. And we've come across two things that people keep saying is, you know, you got to put your oxygen mask on first, and mamas especially need to do that.
I was just going to say that, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I should make a post for this because that keeps coming up over and over and over again. And the other one is, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And so mama's got to have a way to feel
100%.
Good. So yeah.
that is 100% true. You know, we need to take care of ourselves to look after the people around us. And self-care is one of the most important things. And it's the little things we do for self-care. And you're 100% right. It's the mask. You know, when the mask comes down, you put it over yourself so you can look after the people around you. And it's exactly the same with everything we do in life, that if we don't look at, and mothers are notorious for not looking after themselves first. And business owners are also notorious for not looking after themselves first.
Yeah.
So self-care is so important, because if you look after you, and it's the little things with self-care, you know, eating right or going for a walk, you know, even just sitting in the garden for 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. It's the little things we do that actually help with self-care. You know, even after a day of going through stuff, sitting in front of the TV, watching a comedy, you know, having a good laugh, that's self-care as well. You know, it's the little things we do that make a real big difference, because it has a domino effect on the people around us.
And the energy
100%.
around us too. It really helps once you get into the right energy with yourself, then you attract more of that, and you attract more in your life of what you want. Whereas if you're not in the right vibration and you're not really in tune with yourself, things feel off and you may not understand why. And it's that alignment and going inside and really checking in with all the senses and how do you feel, and slowing down. We can be so busy, especially over here in the US. It's go, 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 and this and this and this and this and this. And COVID made everyone slow down, made all of us have to go inside, and it really can be a blessing.
It definitely did, yes.
Because now we have to face ourselves. Some of us for the first time.
It's totally right. We need, yeah, and it's true. You know, there are a lot of families that, you know, were separated before, and COVID brought them together. So suddenly they were having to do family time and have fun with the kids and doing different things that they probably wouldn't have done beforehand. So that's really important too. And also too, you know, the one thing I think a lot of parents and a lot of business people forget to do is realize the amazing things they've actually done. And, you know, really take gratitude for the amazing things they've done. And all you need to do is look at your children to realize how amazing, you know, you brought these children into the world, and that's amazing too. You know, every single thing that parents do, it's amazing. You know, as business owners too, when you do different things, we don't realize the amazing things we do. I was on the phone today to one of my best friends who rang me, and we were talking business stuff. And I've got a new directory for a worldwide directory for high caliber business experts. My whole job, everything I do now is to make life easier for business owners. So our target market, we forget, are usually our old self that we're wanting to make things easier for. So everything I do is making things easier for them. So, but I kind of feel like I've built Ben-Hur at times, and I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? And she's actually reminding me that, you know, I've done an amazing job. It looks fantastic. It's got great people on it, and it's really great. And also, you know, I hear a lot of parents who they forget to realize that they do an amazing job. It's the hardest job in the world, and they do an amazing job. And there are lots of things around them that they really should take gratitude from, because without that, you know, where would they be?
And I think we've lost a lot of gratitude in the world because of social media and the people that post their highlight reels. Nothing against showing people something to aspire to, but when you start comparing yourself, that's really not fair to yourself.
Never compare.
You're never going to see the win.
Never compare yourself.
You're unique.
No, never compare yourself to... That's exactly right. You are unique, and that's what makes you different. And you want to be different in this world. You don't want to be like everybody else. I remember when I was younger, my mother once said to me, and she didn't mean it as a compliment, she said, "You always like to be different, don't you?" And I said, "Thanks, Mum." You know, being different in life, in business, it's a good thing. It sets you apart from the rest. You know, there are a whole lot of different sales books out there, or sales trainers, but they're not all the same. They're different. Different things make them unique as well. And it's the same with us. We're all unique in our own way, and we need to really enjoy that uniqueness. We don't want to be like everybody else, because if you're like everybody else, well, then, you know, well, you can't be like everybody else anyway. Your experiences are different to everyone. So even if you think you're like someone else, you're not at all. You're totally different, because, you know, you grew up different, your experiences are different. You can even have a set of twins who are brought up in the same family, but because their experiences have been different, because they haven't been together like 100% the whole time, they're different as well. So we need to embrace our differences, enjoy our differences, and really, love ourselves for who we are and take that on board. I think, we condemn ourselves too much. We're our own worst enemy. We really are. And that's why self-talk is so important, and realizing that, we are special in this world, because everything we do has a domino effect. Imagine, people think that, if they weren't here, life would be better. 100% not. If we weren't here, the domino effect of that would be terrible amongst people around us. We matter. Everything you do matters. Everything you do makes a difference in somebody's life that has a domino effect for other people.
Oh, yes. And it all happens for a reason. And it's important to just embrace it. I mean, the world would be so boring if we were all vanilla. Like if the only flavor of ice cream was vanilla. I mean, ice cream's great, but come on, vanilla. I mean,
I love dark. I have to say, I love dark chocolate and chocolate chip and coffee. So yes, I agree.
That's good. That's good. I love dark chocolate too. But it goes with that saying, why blend in when you were born to stand out? You were meant to stand out of the crowd by being who you are. And what I am noticing is that the entrepreneurs that are really successful have done the work. They've done a lot of the personal work. And they know exactly who they are, and that has given them this little superpower niche of knowing how they can serve best, knowing what their skill is that really gets people results and gives them impact. And it doesn't really even matter if they're beginning or if they're really advanced with it. They own it. They just own that is the thing that is theirs, that they stand out with. And we need to encourage more people to do that.
That's it. We were born to shine. And I'll tell you something, I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs. And the one thing I absolutely hate is that most entrepreneurs have had to go through a lot of crap to get to where they are. Mm-hmm. I hate that. But at the same time, it's because of that they're doing what they're doing. It's because of that they're helping other people have an easier time. It's because of that they are where they are. Resilience isn't something that, just happens overnight. It's learned, it's practiced, it's something that you have to do over and over again. And, there are times that, I'm resilient. There are times I'm not resilient. There are times I'm on the couch and I can't get up. There are times that, I'm talking to people overseas and absolutely loving it. It's all different and it's all normal, but resilience is very much learned and practiced. Self-talk is practice. Everything we do to better ourselves or to have a positive mindset or to keep moving forward, it's all practiced over and over again. It's something that you need to consciously do. It's not something that happens overnight. And don't believe that with anybody, it just happens and that's the way they are. Even Tony Robbins went through his stuff as well, to get to where he's going. And he has his down days too, because he's only human. So we all go through it, but we need to realize that the things that we do has a domino effect on the people around us. And what is the domino effect that we want? I just want to give one tip too that I found that really works well. It's a brain dump journal. So, a lot of the time we've got things going on in our heads all the time, especially us women. So a really good idea too is to have a journal and 3 pages. I got this from a book called The Artist's Way, and it's amazing. I've added a little bit to it. So 3 pages, just write whatever's in your head, just write. Even if you don't know what to write, you can write, I don't know what to write, blah, blah, blah. Just get it all out, 3 pages. Once you finish the 3 pages, write 5 things that you're really grateful for. The first time I did that, I did it in the morning. I had a coffee and I did it in the morning before my shower. When I got into the shower, you know how you're always thinking in the shower? Mm-hmm. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was the most amazing thing. So I know people who do it first thing in the morning and they do it at night before they go to bed as well. All it is a brainer. You don't ever read it back, burn it or shred it afterwards. You don't ever want to read it back because it's just a brain dump. That's all it is. But it's getting everything from your head out of your head. So you're clearing it for other things. You're clearing it for creativity. You're clearing it for love and gratitude. You're clearing it to bring things in. It's just a brain dump, but it works really well.
That's interesting because I used to do that when I was younger. I didn't realize I was giving myself therapy. I would just go crazy and write. But I still have those. Maybe I should burn them. I don't, but Because sometimes they're angry. There's stuff in there I don't want people to read. I've gone back and read them and went, I used to think that way like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm like, what was going on that day? You know, it was just what my brain was trying to make sense of. And I have one of those brains that moves very, very fast, and I can jump from one subject to the other. So I'm sure it wouldn't make sense to anyone but me, right? Anyway, so.
But it frees your brain for other things. It frees your brain for the important things as well. And I'll tell you what, that I'll never forget that first day getting into the shower going, oh my God, I'm not thinking, this is fantastic. There's nothing happening. This is great.
I sing
really
in the shower,
good tip for people to utilize. I love that. I love that. But it's a really good tip for people to utilize so they stop overthinking, because really what people end up doing is either they're thinking of the past and the things that have happened, and the past is finished, it's gone. We can't go back to it, but they get depressed over the past. Or they're thinking of the future and getting anxious about things that may or may never happen, but it definitely hasn't happened yet. And what we need to do is bring ourselves to the present. So a great way to bring ourselves to the present is to listen to the noises around us and really take that in, and to listen to our breathing as well to bring us to the present, because the most important time is right now, because everything we do right now brings us to what's going to happen to the next point.
Yes. And all we can control is this moment. I really love this saying that you can't drive a car holding onto the rear view mirror. Where are you going? Like, no. So how are you going to do that? Like, you don't, if you're not looking ahead and you're looking behind and you're not in the moment at the steering wheel, paying attention to it, yeah, you're going to crash, you're going to burn. And you're the second interview tonight, actually, that was talking about being in the present moment, because it's the only thing we have control of is what we're doing right now. And we also only have control of ourselves. And I think that's part of resilience too, is realizing I'm in control and taking responsibility for my actions, and not blaming, also not seeking outside validation, not letting things outside of you move you from your truth. Once you're really resilient and you know your truth, you're firm in those core values and you know your boundaries and you keep them. Now, that doesn't mean things aren't going to try to shuffle them and there aren't going to be challenges to overcome, and maybe you do need to shift a little bit here and there, but you're solid enough that it bounces off of you. Like, it doesn't deflate you. And I think that's where a lot of people in the world are struggling a little bit.
It's very easy for the brain to go into yesterday or tomorrow or for other things. So it's a real conscious thing to be able to think of what we need to bring ourselves back to where we are, which is really important. Yeah, we need to be conscious of what we're doing in order to keep bringing ourselves back to the present, because our actions are really important for what we actually do. And everything we do is a choice. It's our choice to feel a certain way, because, you know, we can let someone else, this is a good one too, you know, the way someone else acts towards you or the way someone else treats you has nothing to do with you. It's all about them, nothing to do with you at all. So a lot of people take on other people's emotions or other people the way they are. Don't take that on. It's their thing. It's got nothing to do with you. And also, a lot of people and a lot of successful entrepreneurs too learn to say no more often. You were talking about boundaries and how important boundaries are, and it's true. And it's okay to say no for things. Just say it in a nice diplomatic way, but it's okay to say no, because if we say yes to everything, then there's nothing left for us or, you know, our closest people around us as well. And we start to lose ourselves. So saying no is okay, but we can do it in a nice way. We don't have to be rude, but saying no is important as well to certain things.
And I just learned today, Brendan Burchard's Growth Day is all about boundaries this month. All the coaches are doing boundaries. And the way Brendan presented them today was something I had never thought about before, but boundaries with yourself. Like, know when you slip into your old self versus your new self kind of thing, where like, why are you shifting? Why are you not staying on the course of where you want to be? And the way he was doing that, I just had never thought about that before. Because when you think about boundaries, it's usually with others, right? It's not really with yourself and your goals.
Yes.
And so I think that's another concept, because that's another internal thing. Like, all the power is within us. I think that's what people need to understand. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. It really is inside you. We are creative human beings. And also, I think the rising generation is really wanting to go a bit too much into victim mode. They've been very privileged with instant gratifications and cell phones. I remember when there weren't computers and there weren't cell phones and people had to come to your house if they wanted to see you. They had to make some effort to be there in person. And thank goodness we have technology with COVID and everything, so we can make connections around the world and that. But I miss those. We've lost a bit of our humanity in the process. It's really easy to dehumanize other people when you don't have to see them. And you can do a click or a comment and walk away and not see the consequence of what you did to somebody. And so I think for being resilient is also realizing you need to have empathy, you need to have kindness, you need to think the golden rule: do unto others as you would have others do unto you, not what seems like the impulse to do at the time. And so my 2 bits on social media, but.
No, it's really important what you said. One of the strongest things, in 2020, a lot of people were reactionary on social media. And the one thing I learned, and I'd been guilty of some of that as well, but not in a mean way at all. But then I learned, one of the strongest things I can do is nothing. Say nothing. Because if you say nothing, then the other person says nothing as well. So, the strongest thing you can do is walk away and do what you need to do for yourself, for your family, for those closest around you. Because once you start to get into all of that, then it goes on for young and old, and it's back and forth. So walking away is one of the best things to do. And people I find on social media, you've got different types of people. Some people, it's their way of bullying as well on social media. And you've just got to walk away from it because, the one thing the last few years has shown me is life is short. And that we really need to enjoy it, and we need to live it, and we need to live with no regrets. So, communication is one thing that's really important as well, and communicating a lot better with people, because how do we expect other people to know what we mean if we don't say it properly? People can't read our minds. So we need to communicate better with other people so, they understand where we're coming from. They understand what our needs are as well. That's really important too, that we need to look at. And social media is one of these things that people can get caught up in really easily. So, taking time back from that is important. Also, too, what I was saying to you just before this as well, is that right now, the entrepreneur's greatest gift is to create. There's never been a better time than right now to create. And I say to people, use your imagination, think outside the square, because there is nothing that you can come up with that's crazier than what's happening in the world. Oh, yeah. So now is the time to really create and use your imagination.
And I think it's important with that to allow failure to just be part of the journey.
That is just learning curve. That's all it is.
Learning. Yeah, and that's the new attitude I've taken as an entrepreneur is like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep trying this. I'm just going to, not trying. Forbes would make me do push-ups. Forbes Riley, no, there is no try. There's only do. I am moving forward. I'm not giving up. I'm just finding my space in the world is what I'm finding. I'm attracting people like you to speak with and others. And I haven't completely found my place in this online world yet, but I know I'm making some impact. I know I'm making a difference. And if it's gonna, it's the right direction. And so I'm just gonna keep going that direction and see where it leads me. And
that's all you can do.
Exactly. And that's resilience.
We learn we learn every day. I say we learn every day of our life, and we will continue till the day we die. And in the entrepreneur land, they say you are going to fail at things. That's just the way it is. And failing is really just a learning curve. If we didn't fail at anything, we wouldn't learn anything and we wouldn't grow. So all it is just a learning curve to say, hang on, that doesn't work. We need to try it another way. That's all it is. So what they say is you're going to fail, but fail, learn fast, move on. That's what you need to do. Don't dwell in, I stuffed up or anything. Don't dwell in that. Take the learnings and then move forward, because it's the dwelling in that starts to change how we feel and our mindset and everything else. But if you know before, you're going to stuff up in different areas. You're human. How can you not stuff up in different areas? We don't know what we don't know. We're learning all the time. And one thing too that I heard years ago, which is true, or two things. One thing is, people are doing the best they can with what they have at the time and what they know at the time, which is quite important too. And yeah, we need to keep moving forward, and we need to realize that, we're all human and we're doing the best we can. And the other thing I love as well is that, if we've got gifts that we want to share, like you, Tiffany, like this is a beautiful gift that you're doing, all of this and helping people with this. So the saying I love is, if you've got things that you need to share and you know it's going to help somebody and you don't do it, how selfish is that not to do it and not to actually get out there and help people? So when people say to me, oh, I can't do it, I feel this or I feel that, I'm like, well, number one, you're totally normal, because we all feel like that. Mm-hmm. And number two, that how would it be if you could help somebody, but you're actually not doing it because you're too scared of yourself not to help somebody else? Imagine the domino effect of helping that person, of what it could do to the people around them.
Yes, I've gone through so many things completely and utterly alone with God. One person could have made a huge difference. I feel blessed that I am still here. And that's where my heart is that I don't think anyone should have to go through anything alone at all. And one person can make a huge difference. One person can save someone from suicide. One person can create that masterpiece. That one person can inspire that child to become the next president. You don't know what you don't know about the power of you.
No, not at all. And everyone needs a community. Entrepreneurs need a community, parents need a community, everybody needs a community, whether that community is a face-to-face community or whether it's an online community, whether it's a Facebook community. Everybody needs a community. With my new directory that I've just built, the worldwide directory, which is under the www.debbie.team, people can find it, DEBBIE.team. I've also put networking groups there as well. Nice. Not just high caliber business experts, because I want people to realize that if they need or they want a networking group, a community to be there for them and help them, that there are ones available all around the world that can actually help them. Because, even myself, I travel the world without leaving home. As I said, I travel the world without a passport. And I'm constantly and I met you in a group as well, Tiffany. So, yep. I meet people all around the world and I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. And the thing that I find, especially about entrepreneurs, is that we're all real. We tell it how it is. Mm-hmm. We're in the group that I met you in. We were talking about how it is and helping each other through that as well. And that is what entrepreneurs do. We help each other because we realize that, we all go through hell. We all go through good times. We all have our ups and downs. It's all normal. But when you've got a community who gets you, who understands it and who's there and can actually help you through it, that's really important as well. So even if it, there are heaps of groups around the world, whether it be men's groups or women's groups or parent groups, there are so many of them around the world that you find one, reach out and, and we'll do research and we'll find one for you. It's really important to do. The other thing I wanted to mention too, that someone said to me, and I was speaking to someone else, someone said to me with that as a single parent, that they weren't going to date until their kids were older. Mm. And I'm sure that, a number of people would say that. Now, I come from a single parent family. And my mother did that. And I wish she hadn't done that because, it's like she missed out on meeting someone she could have been with as well. So I was talking to a single dad about it. And he said to me a couple of things. One, he said, do not do that. Do not wait till the kids are older because of the fact that that kids learn, some people stay in your life and some people don't stay in your life. And the other thing he said is that when you're happier, if you're in a relationship that's really good and you're happier, what's the domino effect to your kids? They're happier as well. Yeah. So, life is short. Don't miss out on things just because, we need to it's scary taking different risks. It really is. But we need to take different risks, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whether it's things that we want to do. And the reason I say that is because one of the worst things would be to be 180 years old. I say 180, can always hope, is to be 180 years old, to look back and say, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd tried that. I wish that would be one of the worst things to do. So, it takes courage to do things. And this is what I say. I'll tell you a quick story in a moment, but what I say is this. I say, think of two things. One, will you regret it if you don't do it? And if the answer is yes, the second question is, what is the worst thing that can happen? And if it's not that bad, then go for it. I was at the airport once in Melbourne, here in Melbourne, and sitting across from me was the comedian Jerry Lewis. In my head, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, that's Jerry Lewis. Oh my God, that's Jerry Lewis. So my friend came up to me and I'm pointing and suddenly she's going, oh my God, that's Jerry Lewis. So I went up to, and in my head, I'm going, the same thing. I'm saying, am I going to regret not going and saying hello? Yes. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. Do it. Who knows what can happen? So I went up to him and I asked him if he could sign an autograph and he said no. So I said to him, what, you only sign checks? It just came out of my mouth. He burst out laughing and we had an amazing conversation after that. So you just never know. And I know that's a little thing, but you just never know what can happen when you try things. Me building this directory, there are times that I've like, it's only 3.5 weeks old. I've been lying in bed going, what did I do? Like, have I done the right thing? Am I crazy? Am I out of my brain? What have I done?
I kind of feel that way about this summit at times, actually. So I get it.
That's normal to think that. And, I've got people around me going, no, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. You've done a great job. I'm like, okay. But also you, Tiffany, how many people, what is the domino effect of this expo? The domino effect of the people that you have helped. I believe it's larger than you even know or even think.
Oh.
So what you've done is such an amazing thing that, even to put something on more often, even if it's a yearly thing that you do, you are, without even realize, you're doing it because you want to do it. You're doing it because you've got an amazing heart and you're a beautiful soul. But the domino effect of these things, you don't even realize how many people that you have actually helped and the people around them that you've actually helped through this as well.
And that's what I want. I want people to be resilient because now I'm understanding life at a whole different level and perspective and experiencing life in a way that's refreshing and not so dark. Like a lot of the trauma and the things that I went through were really holding me back in a lot of ways and attracting the wrong relationships, attracting the wrong habits and lifestyles and I don't want any more of that. I see the patterns, I've broken them and I'm like, dude, I'm free. How do I get other people free like this?
Introspection is a beautiful thing. And it's really important that we are introspective and we have a look, okay, what is it? Because it's us too. It's our mindset. It's what we're attracting. How are we attracting this? What are we saying yes to that we shouldn't be saying yes to? What boundaries do we need to have that we haven't been having as well? We need to think of these things too. And as you said, we need to change within ourselves in order to do things too. And it's a journey. Everything we do is a journey. But and I hate that you've had to go through those things. But on the other side, it's what's put you here today. It's why you're helping other people. Your target market and other people, just when people say they're not sure who their target market is or they've got a huge target market, a lot of the time, their target market is their old self. They're wanting to give their old self an easier time. That's why they're doing what they're doing now. So being conscious of it is really important because change is a conscious thing. I see so many people who they're very surface people. They're reactionary. They don't think. They don't think how the things that they do or they say and that it has an impact on other people. They don't have that introspection at all. And yet I see a lot of entrepreneurs who do have that introspection, and it changes the way they see the world, but it also changes the way they are in the world, which changes what they attract in the world.
Oh, absolutely. I have found that to be absolutely true. Would never imagine I'd be connecting with you halfway around the world tonight, for Pete's sake. And all of a sudden, all these experts want to talk to me. I'm in rooms with millionaires going, how did I get here? And I'm like this underdog everybody's rooting for. And I'm like, okay,
you're meant to be there.
Here we go.
You're meant to be there.
Yeah. And that's just it. We're all meant to be there. You are all meant to be somewhere. And that's what resilience is about. We're running out on time. And how do people connect with you? Where do they find you? I think you mentioned it a little bit.
Okay. So the best way to connect with me is to go on to www.debbie.team, TEAM. That is my directory. My profile is on there. Any events I have will be on there as well. They can find great business experts there. They can find communities there as well. That is the best place to find me and any event that I'm doing or that I'm part of as well. So we'll have to add, actually, I'll have to add this one in too. So I'll do that for you too, which will be great.
And it's people like us. It's people who are wanting to collaborate, wanting to help, wanting to add value, give you a hand up. That's what I'm loving about these kind of people.
100%. Just really quickly, I just want to say that I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. We can all bring something to the party. And Tiffany, thank you so much for putting this on and for having me as part of it too. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we usually dance. And so I'm going to see if I can get the music on real quick and we'll dance until it kicks us off. Here we go. Let's see. Just start dancing. Just start dancing. We can add the music later. Maybe. My little guy got in my phone. Can I get to what I need? Let's see here. Almost. Keep dancing. And then 3, 2, 1. We're going to have music, I think. Here we go. There it is. This dance so it kicks us off. An audience, get up. Get out of your seat. No sitting all day watching Zoom. Come on. I love it. My new microphone. So